I don't know what the title of this video is going to be, but whatever I end up putting, that's what you're watching. But this video is something I've learned over the past week, you know. No, actually not the past week. It's been like maybe like few weeks since I learned this. It's providing value to other people. You know, whenever we want help, we always turn to other people, right? Whenever we want like something like a job or something, you know, anything. It can be literally anything. We always turn to other people. But I think we need to think more in the perspective, and something I've learned is you need to think more in the perspective like, what can I provide to the person, right? You know what you want, right? For example, if you want a really good physique, fair enough. Or if you want a good job, also fair enough. But I think we need to ask more ourselves, what can I provide to that person who's going to provide me with this result? What is something that I can give? You know, and I think that's really important, because I'll tell you in my life, I've had a couple of people that I didn't provide value to, and I don't know, I just feel like they just kind of hate you for it. Well, not hate, but like they kind of resent you after a while, you know. It's just like you keep asking them for favors and advice and all this, and they feel kind of drained out, you know. And they feel kind of drained out, you know, because you just keep on using them for something, you know. So, you know, and I've kind of realized, like, the value that you provide, it doesn't have to be anything like extraordinary, right? Yeah, you know, it doesn't have to be money. When I talk about value, I think in my mind anyway, I often think about like money, right? It doesn't have to be about money. It doesn't. It can be providing another person with a good time, or it can be being energetic and enthusiastic about their advice, or you know, one more example, it could be you that advice kind of worked for you, and you kind of showed your results to that person. Like, hey, or for example, hey, you know, your new training style worked for me. Look at how jacked I am, or you know, your new this worked, and look at the results. You know, and you say all that it makes the person feel like they did something, right? I think that's important. It's like, always ask yourself, always keep this question in mind in anything that you're going into, or like anything that you want something from other people, is what can I give? What can I give? And you know, what you give is ultimately up to you. There's no right or wrong answer of what you give or what you don't give, you know. And I don't know if this is relevant for this video, but I also want to talk about something else, and that is advice. The advice you receive from other people should always be taken with a grain of salt, right? Because our society today is told how to think, right? The media that we have, the what do you say, the YouTube videos, or the video games that we play, or the movies that we watch, or the TV show that we consume is curated in a way to make us think a certain way, right? And I think it can be even also gone with advice. It's just, when you ask someone for advice, learn how to think for yourself. If you get the advice, try to curate that advice and apply it into your own life, and don't be afraid to reject advice ever. I think a good advice that I'm going to give you is learn how to reject advice. Learning how to think for yourself. This something that I've also currently learned, and you know, when I kind of realized this, it was like my life. I thought to my life, I was like every action that I was doing up until the point where I learned how to think for myself was for other people, right? Going to college, parents, or you know, doing that. This person told me to, or fall in love because somebody else told me to fall in love because it was so magical for the other person, right? But I think we need to learn how to take and reject advice. We need to learn how to think for ourselves. We need to take advice. This is my advice, but you need to take advice, the good and the bad, kind of manipulate it, and think about how you can tweak it, right? This you learning how to think for yourself. Learn how to tweak the advice and apply it into your own life. I think that is very good as well. And it took me a long time to figure out is, you know, and you know, one more thing I've also learned is you don't have to be right. Right? You are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to be wrong because that's life. We learn from our mistakes, right? The decisions and the choices that we make may not always be right, right? We tend to act out of feelings a lot. Hell, I tend to act on my feelings a lot, but I'm trying to recognize it, where I'm going wrong, right? Was this the right decision? If not, try to change it. Try to learn from the mistake, you know? One thing I've also learned is not acting out of feelings so much. Right, acting out of feelings never did any good for me. I'm sure it's not going to do any good for you because feelings are just that, feelings, you know. And yeah, back to the topic, learning how to think for yourself. I think it's very important, you know, learning how to take in and reject advice. And the thing is, you don't have to be right. You don't have to be right. You can be wrong. You can make mistakes. And I think that's what life is all about. It's figuring out. No, it's life is all about figuring out where you went wrong and fixing it. Right? Learning from your mistake. You learn and you do better the next time. That is life. Also, something I like to add as well is taking advice from people. Like that begs the question, like who should you take advice from, right? Like we often, like, it's just like, okay, I've got some people, but like who should you actually like turn for advice? And the thing is, like in my opinion or in my thoughts or what I believe to be is true, is you need to take advice from people who've actually already lived your life, right? Not lived your life, but who've actually already made it in life in a way that you want to make it, or who's already done your dreams, or who's already done your passions and your things in life. That is a person you should be taking advice from. You shouldn't be taking advice from random people, right? You shouldn't even be taking advice from like anyone, you know. But it's all about taking advice from people who've actually done what you want to do in life. You know, for example, for me, like I don't really take advice from my family because I just, you know, it's nothing bad. It doesn't mean I hate them or anything. It's just like I didn't need to, because I knew that their advice never worked for me. Right now I'm not saying, you know, I'm gonna reject them or anything, but like it's just like they haven't done what I want to do, right? And I think I would just wanted to add that as well, you know, taking advice from people who've actually done it. Man, I don't know what that was, but I don't know if it was good advice, but that's something I've been thinking about for a few days. I thought I'd share here. Maybe you got some value from this video. If you did, thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Peace.